imagine being locked in a neon-lit Spanish villa for 8 weeks, completely isolated from the outside world, stripped of your phone, your friends, and honestly, your grip on reality.
And your dignity.
Yeah, literally your dignity, your entire survival, and, your future brand deals depends entirely on convincing the British public that you are hopelessly, authentically in love.
Which is statistically improbable.
Exactly. But what does that kind of pressure do to a person's brain? Today, we are getting into all the viewer voting data, the psychology behind it, and 54 episodes of raw, unhinged footage to figure out how reality television completely alters human morality and, why we are so obsessed with watching it. So, babes, welcome back.
Welcome back, Snark Squad.
We love you. We see you. And honestly, if the dating apps have taught us anything this week, it's that emotional availability is apparently the rarest collectible on Earth.
It is a genuine crisis out there in the digital trenches. It really is.
Oh, it's a wasteland. But to soothe our frayed nerves, we have our elderflower gin spritzes on deck.
Very necessary today.
Highly necessary, because tonight just feels like the perfect breezy summer evening to deconstruct some absolute romantic carnage. So cheers to another week with the Snark Squad. You guys are literally the only ones keeping us sane right now.
Cheers. And, we are uniquely qualified to diagnose this absolute mess because against every single logical instinct we possess, against the warnings of every therapist in a 100-mile radius, we actually re-downloaded the apps this week.
We did. We really did. I feel like I have to defend my thought process here.
Please do, because I'm baffled.
Look, I thought, you know what? It's summer. Love is in the air. The algorithm has had 6 entire months to learn from its past mistakes.
That's your first mistake. Trusting an algorithm.
I know, but I thought maybe, just maybe, it has finally recalibrated and decided I am actually worthy of a man who goes to therapy, understands the concept of a follow-up question, and knows how to make a dinner reservation without scanning a QR code.
Yeah, see, that is exactly the kind of toxic optimism that keeps the Silicon Valley dating industrial complex running. You projected a human capacity for growth onto a line of code.
I just wanted a cute date.
And instead, what did the app deliver? A complete digital wasteland. I mean, we are talking about a barren desert of red flags. Men holding sedated tigers in their photos. Guys whose entire personality is just quoting The Office.
It's so bad.
If anything, the conversations have devolved, like the basic social contracts of courtship have completely eroded since the last time we logged on.
Eroded is putting it mildly. Okay, Snark Squad, I need you to picture this because I am literally still spiraling. So I matched with this guy. His profile looks totally normal.
Normal is subjective, but go on.
No, like he had a cute dog, a decent smile. It seemed like he actually had a job. So I sent a nice, normal, low-stakes opener. I just said, hey, how's your week going?
Perfectly standard.
Right. And do you know what this man replies with? I need you to explain the psychology behind this, please.
I'm still physically recovering from the screenshot you sent me, honestly.
Yeah.
It defies all known laws of human interaction.
He replies verbatim, and I quote, "It's going okay, but I just bought 5,000 live earthworms for my indoor compost bin, and they escaped to my studio apartment. What's your stance on sharing a bed with invertebrates?"
See, let's actually unpack the mechanics of a message like that.
Please do, because I was speechless.
It's the what's your stance part that truly fascinates me. He has framed a catastrophic biohazard as a playful philosophical debate.
Yes, exactly.
He's presenting this massive red flag, the fact that his mattress is currently a literal terrarium, as a quirky personality trait. It's essentially a trauma dump wrapped in a bizarre purity test.
Like I'm supposed to say, oh, actually, I'm fiercely pro-invertebrate sleepovers. Let's merge our lives right now.
Right. It's completely unhinged.
I just sat there staring at my phone. I didn't even know what the socially acceptable response was. Do I call pest control? Do I call a psychologist? The police. I just slowly deleted the app again. It feels like the universe is playing an elaborate, targeted prank on us at this point.
Well, analytically speaking, it isn't a prank. It's just the inevitable result of the hypercommodification of dating. The apps have created this incredibly bizarre binary.
What do you mean?
If you look at the data set of modern digital romance, the paradox of choice has completely eliminated the middle ground. You match with someone, and because they have 500 other options sitting in their pocket, they either trauma dump immediately and want to U-Haul into your apartment on date 2, or they completely ghost you after 3 perfectly pleasant messages because someone with a slightly better jawline swiped right.
Ugh, that's so depressing.
There is zero pacing anymore. There is no slow burn. It's an environment that literally breeds extremism.
But wait, I have to push back on the idea that the apps are entirely to blame. Isn't this just human nature? Like, amplified.
I don't think so.
But we are all just desperately seeking connection, right? And when
Yeah.
we are hiding behind a screen, we just forget our manners. Is meeting someone organically actually becoming an urban legend, like Bigfoot? Or a reasonably priced iced latte?
A $4 latte is definitely a myth.
Right. I feel like people tell stories of meeting at a coffee shop or reaching for the same book at a bookstore, and I'm like, sure. Next, you'll tell me you saw a unicorn on the subway.
It essentially is a myth at this point, but not because human nature changed. Our environment changed. The organic meet cute is a casualty of the attention economy.
Oh, that makes sense.
Everyone is walking around with noise-canceling headphones, staring at glowing rectangles, desperately swiping to find a digital connection, while actively ignoring the 50 flesh-and-blood people right in front of them in the grocery store aisle. We've optimized for efficiency, but romance requires inefficiency. It requires awkward pauses, shared glances, and, serendipity.
Okay, but hear me out. You are giving me the cold, hard facts, but here is my optimistic spin.
Oh boy, here we go.
I have to believe the universe has a grander narrative structure. What if, just what if, the universe is purposely throwing these earthworm-hoarding men in our path to shield us?
To shield us from what?
From settling. Like, we are being protected from mediocre app dates because the universe is saving our future spouses for a massive, dramatic season finale plot twist. We're just building character right now. This is our montage sequence.
I genuinely admire your limitless capacity for delusion. I truly do.
Hey.
No, I mean it. You are the eternal optimist. You think we're in Act 2 of a rom-com, and the love interest is just off-screen holding a bouquet of peonies waiting for his cue.
He is. I know he is.
Meanwhile, I'm looking at the reality of this situation, calculating the statistical odds of meeting a well-adjusted partner in a major metropolitan area, and realizing that if a grown man doesn't know the difference between your and your, no amount of cosmic plotting is going to save us. The universe doesn't have a writer's room.
We have to have hope. Without hope, we're just cynical robots. But honestly, surviving the absolute trenches of the apps this week is exactly why our impromptu adult sleepover was the psychological lifeboat I desperately needed.
Oh, that was the ultimate palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Honestly, if we are looking at stress reduction techniques, adult sleepovers should be prescribed by licensed medical professionals.
100%. Snark Squad. Let me paint the picture. It was a random Tuesday night. We were just hanging out at my apartment, recapping life, venting about our jobs, and it started with the classic universal lie.
Oh, yes. The lie.
I said I'll head home after one more
A
episode.
tale as old as modern television.
Right.
The psychological barrier to leaving a comfortable couch when the TV is on, the lighting is ambient, and the gossip is flowing is genuinely insurmountable.
It's impossible. Suddenly, I look at the microwave clock, and it is 1 a.m., and neither of us has moved a single inch.
So I just engaged in radical acceptance. I accepted my fate. I borrowed your oversized, slightly faded band t-shirt and those fuzzy pajama pants that I am 90% sure you have owned since our sophomore year of college.
They are vintage. They have emotional value. But there's something so magical, so fundamentally healing about an unplanned adult sleepover. Because we ended up in the kitchen at 2 a.m., making the most chaotic snack spread known to mankind.
It was literally microwave mac and cheese, some leftover Kalamata olives, and the dust at the bottom of a bag of tortilla chips.
And yet, inexplicably, it tasted like a Michelin star meal.
The culinary science makes absolutely no sense, but if we analyze it, late-night kitchen snacks eaten in borrowed pajamas taste better because of the context.
How so?
You are completely stripped of performative anxiety. There was no presentation. There was no judgment. It was pure, unregulated comfort eating.
Oh, wow, it really is. That was a light bulb moment for me. It made me realize why adult sleepovers with your best friend are infinitely more elite and safer for your nervous system than going on bad first dates.
Oh, absolutely.
On a date, you are performing. You are terrified of an awkward silence. You are pretending to care about a stranger's cryptocurrency portfolio or their earthworm compost bin. A sleepover requires none of that.
It is the complete absence of the mask. Dating requires curating an avatar of yourself. A sleepover requires nothing but an appetite for simple carbohydrates and a willingness to analyze reality TV body language for 3 consecutive hours without breaking eye contact.
Yes, authentic intimacy versus manufactured intimacy.
Precisely.
Speaking of predicting our futures and manufacturing romance, that exact desperate need to find patterns in the chaos is why we cling to astrology. So, Snark Squad, it is time for our love horoscopes for the week.
This is where it gets highly chaotic. We are about to assign arbitrary meaning to the alignment of distant gas giants, but I am absolutely here for the psychological projection.
Let's get into it. We are doing a rapid-fire, messy, highly dramatic, and incredibly specific horoscope for all 12 zodiac signs. Snark Squad, listen up to find out your romantic fate this week. I'll take the first half, you take the second.
I have my clipboard ready. I am prepared to deliver some harsh, undeniable astrological truths.
Okay, starting strong with Aries. Your love prediction for the week. You are going to accidentally text the person you're complaining about to the person you're complaining about. Just brace for impact.
Tragic.
Your biggest romantic opportunity. Keep an eye out for someone who actually knows how to merge on the highway without causing a 10-car pileup. Biggest red flag to avoid. Men who do not own a single real ceramic plate, only paper ones.
A literal crime.
Your lucky color is neon orange, and your manifestation of the week is, I will not double text him. I will put my phone in the freezer if I have to.
Excellent advice. Moving to Taurus, listen to me very carefully. Your love prediction. The universe is putting your legendary patience to the ultimate grueling test. Do not snap.
They're gonna snap.
They probably will. Your biggest romantic opportunity will be found organically in the frozen food aisle of a ridiculously overpriced, high-end grocery store. Look for the person analyzing the macronutrients of organic peas.
Wait, I love that for them.
Biggest red flag to avoid. Men who wear open-toed flip-flops on city concrete. It is a biological hazard and completely unacceptable. Your lucky color is sage green, and your manifestation is. My boundaries are not negotiable, even if he has an incredibly symmetrical jawline.
That is so hard to remember in the moment, though. Okay, Gemini. Oh, Gemini. Love prediction.
Yeah.
You're going to find yourself juggling 3 entirely different dating app conversations and completely forgetting who you told what. You will ask the accountant about his band practice. It will be messy.
Typical Gemini chaos.
Romantic opportunity. A charming, slightly unhinged stranger who appreciates your chaos rather than trying to organize it. Red flag to avoid. Men with professional podcast microphones prominently displayed in the background of their bedroom photos. Just run.
Run fast.
Lucky color, electric yellow. Manifestation.
Wow.
I will focus my attention on one single human being for more than 48 consecutive hours.
Good luck with that. Cancer, we need to talk. Love prediction. You are going to overanalyze a single, mundane emoji for 3 to 5 business days. A thumbs up will send you into a spiral.
Oh, the thumbs up is aggressive, though.
It is, but they will fixate on it.
Yeah.
Romantic opportunity. Someone who remembers your exact, highly complicated coffee order without ever being asked to write it down.
Swoon.
Red flag to avoid. Men who casually refer to all their ex-girlfriends as crazy. We know the common denominator and we know who the real problem is. Your lucky color is pearl white. Manifestation. I am allowed to leave my house, and I will not just romanticize fictional characters in books.
I feel attacked by that last one. Anyway, Leo, step into the spotlight. Your love prediction. Your main character energy is at an absolute all-time high this week, but someone incredibly mediocre is going to try to dim your light. Do not let them.
Never let them.
Romantic opportunity. Someone who doesn't mind holding your purse and taking 40 photos of you from a low angle without complaining. Red flag to avoid.
Yeah.
Men whose only identifiable hobby is aggressively arguing with strangers in YouTube comment sections.
Huge red flag.
Lucky color. Gold, obviously. Manifestation. I deserve a low that matches my insane level of effort.
Virgo, prepare yourself for clinical analysis. Love prediction. Your impossibly high standards are actively keeping you single, and frankly, you are completely fine with the statistical reality of that.
They really are fine with it.
Romantic opportunity. A meticulously organized individual who has a laminated 5-year plan. Red flag to avoid. Men who do not own a bed frame and sleep on a mattress directly on the floor. It is a socio-economic epidemic.
Why is it always on the floor?
Your lucky color is navy blue. Manifestation. I am not a rehabilitation center. I cannot fix him, and it is not my job to try.
Say it louder for the people in the back. Okay, Libra. Sweet, indecisive Libra, love prediction. You will be completely paralyzed by a simple romantic decision, like where to go for dinner on a Thursday, and it will cause a minor breakdown.
Decision fatigue is real.
Romantic opportunity, someone who senses your panic and just makes the reservation for you. Red flag to avoid. Men who ask you to Venmo them for splitting a $5 coffee on the very first date, send the request back and block them.
Absolutely block them.
Lucky color, soft pink. Manifestation. I will stop passively flirting with people I have absolutely zero intention of ever dating.
Scorpio. The detectives in the zodiac. Love prediction. You will uncover a massive, deal-breaking secret by doing merely 3 minutes of light routine social media sleuthing.
3 minutes is all they need.
They are professionals. Romantic opportunity. Someone who can look you in the eye and match your terrifying, unyielding intensity. Red flag to avoid. Men who follow exactly 1,000 Instagram models, 0 of their own family members, and nobody else.
You.
It indicates a severe deficit in object permanence and respect. Your lucky color is maroon. Manifestation. I will trust my highly tuned intuition, but I will legally restrain myself from hacking into his primary email account.
Boundaries. We love to see it. Sagittarius. You flight risks. Love prediction. You're going to catch genuine feelings this week and immediately start looking at flights to another continent to avoid processing them.
Sounds about right.
Romantic opportunity. Someone who can pack a carry-on bag just as fast as you do and doesn't ask too many questions. Red flag to avoid. Men who genuinely believe that playing devil's advocate is a substitute for a personality. It is exhausting.
So exhausting.
Lucky color, purple. Manifestation. I will force myself to stay in one geographical location long enough to let a connection actually take root.
Capricorn. The CEOs.
Yeah.
Love prediction. You are currently treating the dating landscape like a hostile corporate takeover or a rigid job interview, and frankly, all the candidates are failing the initial screening.
They need better resumes.
Romantic opportunity. An ambitious, financially literate equal who deeply respects your Google Calendar blocks. Red flag to avoid. Men who clap aggressively when the airplane lands.
Oh no, not the clappers.
You simply cannot be seen in public with that level of unearned enthusiasm. Lucky color, charcoal gray. Manifestation. I will allow myself to experience joy without preemptively calculating the long-term return on investment.
Aquarius. The aliens. Love prediction. You will ghost someone this week for absolutely no logical reason. They will use the wrong soup sermon and you will just vanish into the ether.
Brutal, but accurate.
Romantic opportunity. A weird, artistic, slightly detached soul who fundamentally understands your desperate need for physical and emotional space. Red flag to avoid. Men who proudly use a 3-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, and body wash combo. It shows a terrifying lack of compartmentalization.
It's basically dish soap.
Lucky color, turquoise. Manifestation. I will attempt to communicate my complex feelings using actual spoken vocabulary words rather than sending cryptic TikToks.
And finally, rounding us out, Pisces.
Yeah.
Love prediction. You are going to aggressively romanticize an entirely average transactional interaction with the cashier at the post office. You will plan a wedding based on eye contact over a roll of stamps.
Ah, that's kind of sweet, though.
It's delusional. Romantic opportunity. A deeply grounded, pragmatic individual who can physically tether you to the earthly realm. Red flag to avoid. Men who insist they are fluent in sarcasm as a blanket excuse for just being verbally abusive and rude.
Ugh, the worst.
Lucky color, seafoam green.
Yeah.
Manifestation. I will actively refuse to project my elaborate fairy tale fantasies onto a man who just provided me with the bare minimum of human decency.
The stars have spoken, babes. We are armed with cosmic knowledge. But honestly, this exact phenomenon, this desperate attempt to find order and meaning in romantic chaos, is exactly what we are seeing break down on our screens.
It is a mess.
So let's leave our own dating disasters behind and head back into the villa. Everyone has been coupled up for a grand total of 4 days, and somehow they're already discussing soulmates, crying over eye contact, and plotting each other's downfalls. It is time to recap the absolute unmitigated madness of Love Island UK, Season 13, Episodes 53 and 54.
And let me tell you, the villa is no longer a reality TV set. It is a complete and utter psychological war zone. We are watching the breakdown of social contracts in real time.
It is. We have to jump straight into the aftermath of the grafties because the tension in the villa right now is just suffocating.
Yeah.
That massive dressing room clash, I was literally on the edge of my seat gripping a throw pillow. It was Julia versus the world.
It was essentially a psychological thriller playing out in neon bikinis and heavy contour. Let's actually strip away the screaming and look at the core architectural structure of the argument.
Okay, let's do it.
Julia correctly points out that Priya and Aidan's connection feels completely disingenuous. And let's be analytically precise here. Julia is not wrong. She is observing behavioral data and stating a hypothesis.
I know she's logically right. But part of me, my hopelessly optimistic romantic side, looks at Priya crying in that dressing room and thinks she just genuinely wants to be loved. She's blindly hoping that Aidan will come around.
You're projecting again.
But we've all been there, right? She is buying completely into the friends to lovers trope. She thinks if she just waits it out, proves her loyalty, and stands by him, The sparks will eventually fly. Why can't Julia just let her have her little fantasy?
And this is exactly where your optimism completely blinds you to the cold, hard, Machiavellian facts of the game.
Machiavellian.
Yes, you are assigning emotional vulnerability to a calculated survival strategy.
Yep.
Priya absolutely shredded your delicate friends-to-lovers defense herself.
Wait, how did she shred it?
She literally proved Julia's entire thesis during that very argument. Do you remember the exact syntax of what she said when she lost her temper? She admitted out loud to the entire room that OGs usually make into the final.
Oh my God, when she screamed that, I audibly gasped. I literally had to rewind it 3 times to make sure I heard her correctly.
It was a monumental Freudian slip of the tongue. It was a structural collapse of her entire narrative. Priya, who was a late arrival bombshell, by the way, admitted that she has studied 13 seasons of Love Island data.
Wow, she really said the quiet part out loud.
Exactly. She has noticed a statistical trend. Original girls and original guys survive the public votes the longest. She picked Aidan, an original guy, out of pure strategic convenience to maintain her proximity to the television cameras, not because of some grand simmering romance. She latched onto a human shield.
That is so dark when you put it like that.
Julia clocked the strategy, called it out, and Priya accidentally confirmed it while trying to defend her fake honor.
It was wild, and you're so right. It completely negated her whole "I have deep feelings for him" narrative. Because if you are genuinely, soul-crushingly into a guy, why in the world are you bringing up the statistical probability of reaching the television finals based on his casting status?
Right. That is math. That is actuarial science, not romance.
Exactly. It's math.
It's a calculated equation based on the sunk cost fallacy. She has invested 4 days into this lie, and she cannot back down now.
Yeah.
And what makes this scene a masterpiece of behavioral psychology is how the rest of the girls acted as her enforcers.
Oh my gosh, let's talk about Yasmin because she is so sneaky. I was watching her face in the background.
She is the invisible string puller.
Yes, she played both sides completely. She actively instigated Priya to go after Julia, like whispering in her ear, winding her up like the toy, but she kept her own hands perfectly clean. She just sat back on the velvet poof and watched the fire. She started to burn the room down.
Yasmin is operating on a very high level of social manipulation. She feels deeply intimidated by Julia because Julia operates outside the groupthink.
True, Julia doesn't care what anyone thinks.
Exactly. Julia speaks her mind and doesn't seek consensus. Yasmin can't control that, so she weaponizes Priya's lack of emotional intelligence to fight her battles for her. It's proxy warfare. And then we have to analyze Mika.
Mika squealing, literally screaming over everyone else and backing the mob like a 13-year-old at a boy band concert. It was so immature.
It was primal.
Every single time Priya made a totally illogical point, Mika was just there, acting as a hype woman for a completely hollow argument. It was 5 girls circling one girl in that tiny dressing room, and it was genuinely uncomfortable to watch.
It was the definition of an echo chamber. Mika experienced de-individuation, which is a psychological state where a person loses their sense of individual identity and personal responsibility when they are part of a group.
Wait, that is fascinating.
Yeah, Mika didn't even know what she was yelling about. She just absorbed the aggressive energy of the pack. But what was equally, if not more uncomfortable, was watching the men react to this violence in the next room.
Oh, the men. Let us contrast the behavior of the so-called men in this villa, starting with Lorenzo.
The defining cinematic image of cowardice.
My heart physically broke for Julia in that moment. She is getting verbally ripped apart by a mob of 5 angry women. And where is her supposed partner? Where is the man who was cuddling her 5 minutes ago?
Her man is aggressively, meticulously lint-rolling his pillow.
In the dark. With an iPhone flashlight. I thought I was hallucinating. I really did.
If they teach reality TV history in universities, this scene will be on the syllabus.
It has to be.
He is sitting there, removing microscopic fuzz from his synthetic bedding, actively, desperately ignoring the fact that his partner is being proverbially executed 15 feet away.
Why didn't he get up?
It is a classic displacement behavior. In ethology, when an animal is faced with a massive conflict like fight or flight, and their brain short circuits, they perform an irrelevant behavior like grooming themselves. Lorenzo's brain couldn't handle the stress of defending his partner, so he displaced that energy into cleaning a pillow.
That is insane. Tommy even walked in, looked at him in total disgust, and asked, "Are you not going to back your girl?" And do you remember Lorenzo's excuse?
I'm not present for the conversations.
It's infuriating. I was yelling at the screen. You don't have to be present for the nuance of the conversation to walk into a room and say, hey, maybe 5 against 1 isn't a fair fight. Let's take a breath. You just have to have a pulse and a spine.
Which he lacks.
But wait, I have to ask, do you think maybe he was just trying not to be labeled toxic or aggressive by getting involved in a girl's argument? Like, maybe he was trying to be respectful?
That is a very generous interpretation, but incorrect.
You think?
True non-toxicity is de-escalation. Allowing your partner to be bullied because you were afraid of losing popularity with the cool kids isn't being peaceful. It's being complicit.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right. Complicit is exactly the word. But thankfully, we have to talk about the absolute shining star of the men's side, the one who broke the bystander effect, Simba.
While the other men were exhibiting terminal groupthink, Simba stood on business.
He did. Oh my gosh, Simba really demonstrated an absolute masterclass in backbone this week. He looked around at this herd of sheep in the bedroom, all the guys just blindly agreeing that Julia was the villain because their girls told them so. And he calmly said, actually, no. I respect Julia.
He rejected the group consensus.
He respected her for not going with the flow, for standing her ground, and for refusing to play a fake game.
Simba recognized the optics of the situation. He recognized the clique mentality that was driving the hostility. He looked at his peers and essentially held up a mirror, telling them, you are all acting like a pack of wolves because it's easier to target one person who tells the truth than to look at yourselves and admit your own relationships are hollow.
Yes.
It takes immense psychological courage to break ranks like that in an isolated environment.
It does. He was literally the only one thinking clearly. And speaking of clarity, let's transition into the Not Another Podcast Challenge expose, because just when the villa thought they could sweep all this tension under the rug, Maya Jama strutted in slow motion, and the villa was never, ever the same.
Maya Jama arrived not just as a host, but as an agent of chaos sent to deliver a heavy dose of reality.
She looks stunning, by the way.
Always. But the Islanders were completely unprepared for the psychological warfare of this challenge. The setup itself was brilliant, putting them behind podcast microphones, giving them headphones, and forcing them to answer questions generated by the public. It simulated authority. It made them feel like they were on the record.
It was genius production. Just genius. But the moment that literally made me scream, drop my snap, and pace around my living room, Aidan's ultimate disrespect.
It was a staggering, almost clinical display of audacity.
He is sitting right next to Priya. Their shoulders are practically touching. And Maya asks a direct question about wandering eyes, and Aidan, just casually, without a single ounce of hesitation, leans into the mic and admits that if Yasmin were single, he'd pursue her.
Let's analyze the brutal mechanics of this moment. Priya has just spent the last 48 hours fighting a literal war in the dressing room for this man. She alienated herself from Julia. She screamed until she was hoarse about how genuine and deep her connection with Aidan is. She put all her chips on him.
All of them.
And Aidan, holding a microphone, broadcast to the entire villa, the production crew, and millions of viewers at home, effectively saying, yeah, the girl next to me is fine for now, but I'd rather be with the girl across the yard.
I spiraled. My jaw was on the floor. How does a woman sit there and take that? Priya's total lack of self-respect in that moment was tragic. I wanted to reach through the television screen, grab her by the shoulders, and shake her.
It's hard to watch.
How do you defend a man who just humiliated you publicly? He essentially told her to her face that she is a placeholder, a rental car until the Ferrari becomes available.
He stripped away any remaining illusion that they were a romantic pairing. He proved Julia right, yet again, in front of everyone. But why did Priya stay silent?
Tell me, because I don't get it.
Cognitive dissonance. To admit she was humiliated would mean admitting Julia was right all along, and Priya's ego cannot process that defeat. She would rather accept public disrespect from a man than apologize to a woman she wronged.
Oh, that makes so much sense. Her pride wouldn't let her back down.
Exactly. But that wasn't even the only bombshell dropped during this challenge. The producers were ruthless. We have to discuss the revelation of Tommy's timeline.
Oh my gosh, Tommy. The absolute villain of the week. The revelation that he split from a 10-month serious girlfriend just 2 weeks before entering the villa. 2 weeks!
The logistics of this are diabolical, and it requires a deep understanding of reality TV infrastructure. Think about the casting process for a flagship show of this magnitude. It takes months.
Months and months.
There are multiple rounds of interviews, extensive psychological evaluations, medical checks, background checks, STD tests, wardrobe fittings.
Right. You don't just fill out a web form on a Tuesday and fly to Mallorca on a Thursday. It's a massive legal and logistical process.
Exactly. So if we apply basic deductive reasoning, if Tommy broke up with a 10-month girlfriend exactly 2 weeks before the show started filming, that means he was actively, deceptively navigating this intense casting process, securing his spot on international television, signing contracts, packing bags.
While eating spaghetti dinners with his girlfriend.
Yes, sleeping in the same bed and playing house with his girlfriend. It requires a level of compartmentalization and deceit that borders on sociopathy.
It's chilling. When you put it like that, it's actually terrifying. He's a club promoter. He clearly just wants the clout, the Instagram followers, the fast fashion brand deals. He looked at this woman who loved him and just saw her as an obstacle to his fame.
He is a highly calculated game player, exhibiting dark triad traits: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. He viewed his real-life relationship not as a bond, but as a temporary holding pattern until his television career launched.
That is so gross.
But for me, the most compelling piece of evidence in that scene wasn't even the timeline itself. It was Yasmin's face when the timeline was revealed.
Her face. Yasmin looked completely, utterly blindsided. Her soul literally left her physical body. Her eyes went completely dead.
She was calculating the implications in real time. You could see the gears turning. She realized she had hitched her wagon and her own chances at the final to a man who had orchestrated his entire entrance into the villa while actively deceiving someone else.
Yep. The math was mathing in her head.
She realized, if he can lie to a woman for 10 months in the real world, what is he lying to me about in here? You could see the trust evaporate into the Spanish air instantly.
It's such incredible television, just raw, unfiltered human realization. And it led perfectly into the watch party rankings and the elimination, because the utter hypocrisy of the Islanders was about to be spectacularly exposed by the British public.
The premise of this game is designed to shatter echo chambers. The Islanders had to cast their votes in several highly inflammatory ranking categories: fame, hungry, red flags, likely to cheat, and least compatible.
And what we witnessed during the Islanders' internal voting was just a masterclass in clique-driven bias. They relentlessly piled on Julia and Lorenzo. For every single negative category, it was just Julia this and Julia that.
They attempted to curate the reality of the situation.
Yes, they used it as an opportunity to bully her, hoping to manipulate the narrative and force her out of the villa. They thought if they all agreed she was the problem, it would become true.
Priya, Aidan, Yasmin, Kavan, Mika, Samraj, they operated as a voting bloc. They weaponized their votes to punish Julia for daring to speak the truth about their fragile alliances in the dressing room.
It was so mean-spirited.
It was a concerted, coordinated effort to manipulate the optics and protect their own hollow relationships. They genuinely believed that because they held the majority opinion inside the house, the outside world would agree with them.
The British public came through. The public vindicated Julia. I was literally cheering in my living room, scaring my neighbors.
The contrast between the villa's internal delusion and the public's external reality was striking. The public, acting as the ultimate unbiased observer, saw through the facade entirely.
They saw everything.
They had access to all the footage, all the whispered conversations, and they judged accordingly.
The public voted Priya and Aidan as #1 for fame hungry, #1 for red flags, and #1 for least compatible. A clean sweep of humiliation.
A clean sweep.
The collective gasp from the popular clique when Maya Jama read those results. Babes, it was high art. It was better than Shakespeare.
It was a beautiful, rare moment of cosmic justice delivered via an algorithm. The echo chamber shattered instantly. The Islanders, who thought they were dictating the social hierarchy of the villa, suddenly realized that the audience saw them for exactly what they were.
Phonies.
Disingenuous, highly strategic, and desperate for fame. Their entire reality crumbled in a matter of seconds.
And amidst all that chaos and panic, there was one sweet, sweet victory that we just have to acknowledge. Simba and Angelisa received 0 votes for least compatible from the Islanders. 0.
Which is statistically incredibly significant in a villa that is this heavily fractured and toxic.
It's a miracle, honestly.
It signifies that even their biggest detractors, the people who hate everyone, couldn't manufacture a single reason to doubt their authenticity. They are the undeniable anchor of reality in a sea of performative showmances. They are actually regulating each other's nervous systems.
We have to celebrate them as the true winners of this week. They are giving us the romance we deserve. But back to the drama, the dumping. The bottom 3 couples are finally revealed. Mika and Samraj, Julia and Lorenzo, and Priya and Aidan.
The tension was palpable. The power was handed over to the public vote, and the writing was finally on the wall. The consequences of their actions had arrived.
And we revel in the absolute unfiltered joy that Priya and Aidan were finally dumped from the island. Pack your bags.
It took 54 episodes, but the algorithm of justice finally caught up with them. You cannot sustain a narrative built entirely on convenience, mathematical probability, and delusion. The foundation was rotten, and it finally collapsed under the weight of public scrutiny.
Good riddance. I hope they enjoy their silent flight back to Heathrow. Okay, babes, let's move into our segments because my blood is pumping and I have so much more to say. Segment 1, Villa Superlatives. We are handing out chaotic high school yearbook awards based entirely on this week's episodes, and we are going to debate them fiercely.
I have my analytical criteria prepared. I will not be swayed by emotion.
First up, most likely to accidentally start World War III.
There's only one logical candidate for this, and it is Julia.
I agree, but I feel so bad giving it to her. She was vindicated. She was right.
You shouldn't feel bad. Let's look at the behavioral facts. Julia is consistently factually correct in her assessments. She diagnoses the villa's structural issues perfectly. But her delivery is a diplomatic disaster.
It is pretty harsh.
She has absolutely zero filter. She drops truth bombs with the subtlety of a sledgehammer to a pane of glass. She is right, but she would absolutely trigger a geopolitical crisis just by aggressively pointing out a minor flaw in a peace treaty during a state dinner. She doesn't know how to play the game of diplomacy.
It's so true. She cannot let a sleeping dog lie. She has to poke the dog, wake the dog up, ask the dog why it's sleeping so much, and tell the dog its relationship is fake. Okay, next superlative. CEO of Mixed Signals.
Aidan, unquestionably.
100%. Telling Priya to her face, I want to try and build a connection. Holding her hand under the covers, defending their couple status in front of the boys, and then publicly lusting after Yasmin on a microphone in front of the entire cast.
He is the chief executive officer of cognitive dissonance. He operates two entirely separate, conflicting narratives simultaneously and expects zero consequences from either party. He is a walking contradiction fueled entirely by male audacity.
Okay, next. Biggest professional overthinker.
Kevin.
Yes. Kevin, who literally cannot make a sandwich in the kitchen without consulting his brother on the bread-to-meat ratio.
It's a severe case of decision paralysis. He outsources his entire cognitive process to his sibling. The prompt during the podcast challenge nailed it perfectly. Why do you need Aidan's approval to make decisions? He overthinks his own shadow. He is incapable of independent romantic execution because he's terrified of making a suboptimal choice.
Okay, this one is too easy. Walking red flag.
Dummy.
The 2-week breakup timeline is diabolical. I cannot get over the premeditation of it.
He is a crimson banner waving in a Category 5 hurricane. It's not just the timeline, it's the occupation. A club promoter who orchestrates a devastating breakup specifically to go on a dating show is a walking case study in narcissism. He views people as stepping stones.
Next, human golden retriever.
Simba.
Simba. He really is. He's the only man with an intact moral compass this week. He's loyal, he's brave, he stands up for the underdog when it's deeply unpopular, and he looks incredibly cute doing it.
He possesses a rare combination of blind loyalty and sharp critical thinking. He's protective of his pack, but he isn't blind to their faults. A high-quality golden retriever indeed.
And finally, most likely to end up back together 6 months later.
I will give this to Priya purely based on her limitless, terrifying capacity for self-delusion.
Yes, she is going to leave the villa, get her phone back, realize Aidan wants absolutely nothing to do with her in the real world, and somehow convince herself in December that they are star-crossed lovers meant to be.
Aidan will text her, "You up," at 2 a.m. on a random Tuesday in late November, and Priya will immediately interpret it as a grand romantic gesture and start a private Pinterest board for a winter-themed wedding. It is a statistical inevitability based on her attachment style.
It's so dark, but so true. Let's move to segment 2, the producers group chat. I love this segment. Snark Squad, we are going to role play reading the leaked, frantic text messages between the producers during that insane podcast challenge, because you know they were sweating.
I will embody the stressed, caffeine-addicted executive producer looking at the monitors. You can be the frantic control room director manning the switchboard.
Okay, ready. Camera 4. Zoom in on Yasmin's face. Her soul just physically left her body. I need a tight close-up on those dead eyes stat. This is BAFTA material.
Received. Also, did anyone in casting expect Aidan to actually admit that out loud about Yasmin? Do not cut that audio. Is the boom mic fully on? Boost his audio levels by 20%.
Levels are boosted. Wait, look at monitor 2. Priya is defending him again. Someone send the onset medic in there. She has fully lost her grip on reality. Should we intervene? Is this an ethical violation?
Do not intervene. We are documenting nature. Let it play out. But get Maya Jama a stronger earpiece immediately. The girls in the back row are screaming over each other. The audio is becoming a chaotic mess.
Maya is holding the line like a pro, but listen. Based on this raw footage we just captured, movie night just became mandatory. Clear the production schedule for next week. Cancel the cute dates. We are showing them everything.
The producers must have been popping champagne in the control room. That episode essentially wrote, directed, and edited itself. It was a masterpiece of structural tension.
It really did. Which brings us to segment 3. If this was a sitcom, we are taking episode 53 and recasting it as an Emmy-winning comedy. Because if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
The structural elements of a classic sitcom fit this specific episode perfectly. Let's outline the pitch for the network executives.
Okay, the episode title has to be The Murphy Brothers' Mistakes. It has a great classic ring to it.
It implies a recurring episodic theme of utter incompetence. Perfect. Now, the cold open. This sets the tonal frequency for the entire half hour.
The cold open is definitely Lorenzo. Just a silent 60-second single-take tracking shot of Lorenzo aggressively lit-rolling his pillow in pitch darkness, using only the harsh light of his iPhone flashlight, while the muffled, chaotic sounds of the villa literally burning down around him echo from the dressing room next door. No dialogue, just the sticky sound of the lint roller.
It's physical comedy at its finest. The juxtaposition of meticulous, absurd domesticity against the backdrop of total societal collapse. It highlights the absurdity of the human condition. Emmy-worthy.
What's the running gag throughout the episode?
Mika squealing at wildly inappropriate times. A character delivers a serious, emotionally devastating, tear-filled monologue about heartbreak, and in the background, out of focus, you just hear Mika emit a high-pitched, dolphin-like squeal for absolutely no contextual reason.
I am crying laughing just picturing it. It cuts the tension perfectly. And the funniest scene overall.
The boys scattering on the stairs. It is pure slapstick.
Yes. The hallway lights flick on, they look down, they realize Julia is walking toward them with purpose. And these grown, heavily tattooed, muscular men literally scatter like cockroaches when you turn on a kitchen light at 3 a.m., Aidan ducking completely out of frame.
It perfectly highlights the absurdity of their fragile masculinity. These men posture all day about dominance, yet they are physically terrified of a 5'4" woman who simply asks direct, logical questions they can't answer.
And the cliffhanger ending before the credits roll.
Maya Jama reading the final public vote. The camera slowly pans across the faces of the popular clique as they collectively gasp, the realization washing over them that the viewing public absolutely despises them. Cut to black. Executive producer, Dick Wolf.
I would binge watch that entire season in one sitting. Okay, finally, segment 4. The Villa Therapist's Notes. Snark Squad. Pretend we are the highly paid, highly stressed, on-staff therapists going through our clipboard of patient files after the dumping.
It's time for some clinical diagnoses. Let's start with patient 1, our most pressing case, Priya.
Okay, Priya's current emotional state, she is operating entirely out of a delusional, anxious, preoccupied attachment style.
Correct. Her biggest communication issue is selective processing. She hears exclusively what she wants to hear. She takes in data, and if it contradicts her desired reality, her brain filters it through a massive confirmation bias until it supports a narrative that objectively does not exist.
Her homework assignment before her next session, I want her to stand up, stare into a mirror every morning, and repeat, I am worth more than a man's backup plan. And honestly, I am prescribing a social media detox. She needs to unfollow Aidan on all platforms immediately.
A necessary aggressive intervention. She is not making progress. Next, patient 2, Lorenzo.
Lorenzo's current emotional state. Extreme pathological conflict avoidance. He is living in a state of constant freeze response.
Indeed. He is a dismissive avoidant. His homework assignment is direct exposure therapy. He needs to learn to speak at a volume louder than a whisper when his partner is being verbally assaulted by 5 aggressive people. I prescribe a megaphone, a rigid spine, and forced debate classes.
I love that for him. He definitely needs an appointment next week. And patient 3, Julia.
Julia's current emotional state. Factually correct, but deeply neurologically exhausted from carrying the burden of truth.
Her biggest communication issue. The delivery is a solid 0 out of 10. She is right, but she lacks any semblance of bedside manner or tact. She talks to people like they are hostile witnesses in a courtroom.
Her affirmation needed, and she needs to write this down in a journal daily. I do not need to attend every argument I am invited to. Silence can be a powerful strategic move. She needs to learn that conserving energy is a valid option.
Snark Squad, we need your clinical notes too. We are crowdsourcing this therapy. Which islander do you think deserved a villa superlative? Did we miss any crucial awards?
And what psychological homework assignment would you personally prescribe to your favorite or least favorite couple in the villa right now?
And most importantly, which fake producer text made you laugh the hardest? Hop into the comments, leave a review, or hit us up on socials. We want to hear all your messy, brilliant takes.
As always, thank you for navigating this absolute psychological chaos with us. Analyzing human behavior is much more fun when we do it together.
We love you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a glowing 5-star review, and share the podcast with another Love Island loving babe who desperately needs to vent about Tommy's timeline.
Before we sign off, I want to leave you with an analytical, slightly provocative thought to mull over until our next session. We've talked a lot about the loudest people in the room today.
Ooh, hit us with the final thought.
We spend so much of our time and energy focusing on the loud, explosive islanders causing the visible drama, the Julias of the world, the ones yelling in the dressing rooms. But in reality TV and in life, what if the biggest, most dangerous Machiavellian game players aren't the loud ones? What if they are the quiet ones, like Yasmin, hiding in the background, subtly pulling the strings, whispering in ears, and letting everyone else entirely self-destruct while they cruise silently to the finale with perfectly clean hands?
Oh my God, the invisible string pullers. My mind is completely blunt. Watch the quiet ones, babes. They are the real threat.
Precisely. Keep your eyes open.
Stay flirty, stay chaotic, and we'll see you on the snark side.